In this video, we're going to talk about the third group of letters. We're going to learn the letter sounds, the body movement, and everything related to them. Hi there, this is Malik and you're watching Learnova. Today we will talk about ah. If this is the first video you watch on our channel, I would advise you to watch the previous videos first. As we explained earlier, there are four main things we need to know about each letter. We need to know the letter sound, we need to know how my mouth looks like while pronouncing that sound, we need to know also how to write it down, and the last thing is the body movement associated with that letter sound. The first sound we're going to talk about today is the sound k. Make sure you watch my mouth while saying that. We always use the videos produced by Leapfrog, and in the video of this letter, you will find that the letter k practices Kung Fu or karate. In the video of this letter, you will find the letter wearing a karate belt and going all the way. So that's exactly the body movement we do while pronouncing that sound. In order to draw an uppercase K, we start drawing a vertical line, starting from the first line to the third one, this way. Then we draw leading lines, starting from the first line to the second line, this way, and another one from the second line to the third line, this way. The first one goes towards the left, and the second one goes towards the right. For a lowercase K, we do the same thing. We start with a standing line from the first line to the third, this way. And then we draw the same leading line, but this time we don't start from the first line, we start from the second line. So both leading lines should be contained within the second and the third line only. The second sound we're learning today is the sound O, O, O. Make sure your tongue touches the top of your mouth. O, O. Make sure it doesn't go that's not right. In English, that's how it goes. O, O. In this letter video, you will find the letter O holding a lollipop and going all the way O, O, like licking lollipops. O, O. And that's exactly the body movement we do every time we say that sound. O, O. In order to write an uppercase O, we always write it between the first and the third line. First, start with a vertical line from the first line to the third one this way, and then a sleeping line to the right. Nothing is easier than writing a lowercase loop. It is simply a standing line or a vertical line between the first and the third lines, just this way. That's pretty much it. Our third sound for today is the sound We make that sound by humming while closing our mouth. In this letter video, you will find the letter M eating a lot of food, and every time he eats, he goes He rubs the belly and goes So that's exactly the body movement we do while pronouncing that sound. In order to write an uppercase we always write an uppercase between the first and the third line. We start first from the very bottom on the third line. We draw a vertical line all the way up to the first one, and then a leading line to the second line, and another leading line all the way up to the first line, and another standing line to the third one. The lowercase is always written between the second and the third line, and that's how we write it. Start from the top of the second line, go all the way down to the third one to draw a vertical line. Don't release the pencil. Go all the way up again to draw a cloud. Again, down to the third line. Now we're going to go up again to draw another cloud, touching the second line on the top, and then back to the third line again. Today's fourth letter sound is going to be the sound. It's also a humming sound while opening the mouth. As you will see in the video, the letter refuses everything. Every time they ask him about something, he goes, no. And that's the body movement we do every time we say that sound. In order to write an uppercase we start from the third line. We draw all the way up a standing line or a vertical line to the first line on the top. And then a leaning line again to the third line down there. And then go all the way up again to the first line. In order to draw a lowercase remember, we always write it between the second and the third line. We start on the second line. We draw a vertical line to the third line this way. And then we go all the way up to draw a cloud that ends on the third line. The fifth and the last sound for today is the sound ah, ah, ah. Make sure you watch my mouth while saying that. Ah, 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 ah. In the video of this letter, you will find the letter ah acting as Tarzan, moving from one tree to another, going all the way ah, 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 ah. And that's the body movement we do every time we say that sound. Ah, ah, ah. Simply form a circle with your hand and put it in front of your mouth while saying that. Ah, ah, ah. Now, how to draw the sound ah? The good news here is that the uppercase and the lowercase ah have the same exact shape, just different sizes. So we draw the uppercase ah between the first and the third line, while we draw the lowercase ah between the second and the third line. And it's simply a circle, starting from the top, all the way to the left, and back to the top again. That's all. In a previous video, we've explained in details what we should do at home in order to properly practice the letter sounds. But just to remind you, I'm going to go through that one more time quickly. First exercise, we make a body movement and my child is expected to say the sound. In the second exercise, we're going to do the opposite thing. I will say the sound and my child is required to do the body movement. The next exercises will be using flashcards. We will leave 3 printables in the description box below. First, we exercise using the uppercase letter flashcards. We show the cards and my child is expected to say the sound. Then we do the same exact thing using the lowercase letter flashcards. Once a child masters these sounds, make sure you mix all the 10 flashcards together. Avoid showing them in order. Make sure you mix them and randomly show the flashcards. In the next exercise, give your child all the 10 flashcards. Make a sound with the body movement and ask your child to pick up the 2 flashcards, the lowercase and the uppercase flashcards of that sound. Now it's time to make things a little bit more complicated. We are going to mix the 10 flashcards of the previous 5 letter sounds with the flashcards of today's 5 letters. Mix them all together and randomly show your child the card. Ask your child to say the sound of the card that you show. The next 2 exercises will be all about tracing letters and writing letters. We are going to leave 3 printable worksheets in the description box below for each letter, as well as a blank one for practicing writing. Let me remind you that we should practice on a daily basis from 10 to 20 minutes maximum. If your child forgets a sound or a body movement, make sure you remind them once and twice before moving to the next sound. Well, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell in order to get our next video once released. Thank you for watching. See you next time.